Alright. Hey everybody, there's another episode of Jammed Up with Jelly here. We got Ozzy Alejo. Is that correct? Ozzy Alejo?
That's right. That's my name.
Ozzy Alejo, he's a fantastic bassist who makes his rounds on the internet social medias, playing the bass, being just a legend over here. So what's going on today, Ozzy?
Well, it's a typical day in the office. I do DoorDash throughout the day, and I also recorded a video. I recorded a piece of content earlier today, so always working, man.
Yeah, you got to keep that content
Yeah,
rolling. I mean, especially where you like playing bass for people on the internet, serving the good people of the internet, the content that they desire.
I suppose, man. One thing I've learned is that the best thing I can do is be myself and stick to my strengths. And you're gonna please some people, and some people you're not gonna please. So you can't please everybody, So just stick to what you want.
Of course. Now, like, what generally got you into like doing what you do, like playing for people on the internet live? Like, I assume you play live music in general, but what made you want to spread
Yeah.
that noise to the internet?
Yeah, that's a good question, man, because I actually think so prior to me trying to jam live on the internet, videos, live streams and stuff, play for bands, a club, local scene. I have plenty of experience there. There's plenty of videos of me playing in bands online as well. It's just that logistically, what it requires to play in a band, you got to go band rehearsals throughout the week. You got to get set lists together, and then you got to get five separate egotistical musicians to agree on some fucking direction in some band. It takes a lot of work, man. It's like being a part of a company or something, like entertainment group. And I've done it, and I've done it well, and then I've also done it not well, and it's very tedious. Like the music industry is exactly as people warn you right from the very beginning. If you're gonna fucking do this because you absolutely love this and you can't live without it. Because if you think it's just a fucking straight line to stardom and you're gonna have money all the way there, you're gonna get fucking disappointed.
Oh
So
yeah.
that's very, very true. So because of that, because I've already kind of spin my wheels in many different ways in the live scene, obviously the internet is this new thing. The internet is still relatively new, right? I think it's like what 20 years in now, since 2002, when it started
About
really taking off, like YouTube, MySpace,
Yeah, I think
YouTube, the
YouTube was
early
two.
social
I think
media
it was
sites,
'01 was YouTube. Yeah.
right? So now we have like 2 decades into this, and it's a more mature. The social media realm is more mature now than ever before. So to me, it just seemed like an obvious thing to do. Why am I over here depending on a local regional scene, hoping that the right things would align when I can? Obviously, you have to learn more skill sets. If you want to do it on your own, you have to be able to put your stuff up there, record it, mix it, send it out, and all that stuff. So it does require another degree of skill sets, but it's actually possible if you can get it going. No one can stop you, right? If you can produce yourself properly, nobody can stop. You can go viral. And I've seen so many other people that are new, small, that I never heard of before in the mainstream that are just blowing up. A lot of new artists blowing up. So I'm like, well, what the fuck if they can do it? Then why the fuck am I not trying to work at this? So to me, it was just that obvious, like other people are doing it, that there's a way to do it. So why not give it a shot?
Yeah, like in a way, you're basically limited by your limitations, and that's it.
Yeah.
Whether
So
you
there's,
physically
yeah,
have the audio supplies or whether you have the physically the drive or mentally the drive to do it.
totally, man. It totally takes a desire, like a belief that you have what it takes to be out there, right? It's just you got to put yourself out there.
See,
There's
like
no other way to do it.
for me, when I was a drummer in the music industry, I did it because I enjoyed it. It wasn't necessarily, hey, to get famous. It was, this is a fun thing to do. I loved getting in front of
Absolutely.
hundreds, possibly thousands of people and playing music and watching their reaction that's pleasant. I was like, dude, that's fantastic. Like that to
Absolutely.
me, it
Yeah.
was so worth it to lug the instruments in a shitty car, drive it 40 miles away, take 2 hours, basically, like that kind of like it was so worth it to do that just to watch
Great.
a bunch of dudes mosh incorrectly and shit whip each other. It's like, we're not even hardcore.
So
Why are you mule kicking?
yeah, man, those metal mosh pits are very entertaining to watch, man. It's always entertaining when somebody starts moshing to your show, right? People would just start getting going. Yeah, it's a fun, it's so fun, right? And I would still do it. Like right now, I'm not actively in a band. If somebody hit me up and had the right opportunity with the right set of dudes, I would totally fucking jump. I have like a huge stack right next to me right now. I would totally pull it out and drive over there. It's just that I've done that for a lot of years, you know. And there is a little bit for me personally, at least, a lot of what's the word? It's almost like you're kind of tired of something where you feel like jaded, right? I'm kind of jaded because I've been a part of so many fucking bands and so many ups and downs and things that got really close to breaking through to some big stuff, and then I just felt like I have to try. It's almost like you have to try something new. All right, that's why for me the internet the internet is a very personal, a customizable type of medium. You can tailor the internet to work for your personality, right? You can really tailor, and with the band stuff, it's so much harder to tailor because again, you have to rely on the availability.
It's a
of
group.
hoping
It's
that
a
the
group
right people.
focus rather than an individual mindset.
Yeah, so that's why for me the internet is less stress. It's less stress. I would rather deal with just the learning curves of the tech. And then once you fucking ready to do it, then it's like game on. You have the right lighting, you have the right sound, you have the right idea, and just get it out there. But what I'm trying to say is that I'm more picky now. I'm not closing the doors to live music completely. I'm just more picky about who I'm going to do live music with, and I'm just focusing 85% of my efforts to the global international market, right?
No,
So
I get it too, because like live music can be very taxing. It can be depressing. It can be wearing, just because like some of the, like you said, like you get almost jaded to it. Where the fact of, yeah, we're playing for a show for 200 people. It's like, whatever. And it's like, dude, back
well,
in the day, like that would have been like, holy shit, 200 people.
well, I don't know that I ever get tired of the crowds. Like I always appreciate people showing up to check out a live show. It's more like the interdynamics of band members, right? Because
Oh, okay.
I like working with I like working with high quality musicians, right? People that are like the best at what they do, fucking amazing guitar players, incredible drummers. But typically, when you have like high ranking musicians, even let's say just within the local scene, you have some of the best musicians in the local scene working with you. It's like they all have a sense of like, oh, it's hard to lead a band, and I've led a couple bands, but it's just it can get tiring, man. Like leading groups of people that might have different agendas, because some people just want to play shows and make money tonight. I just want to play whatever show pays me the right amount of money tonight.
Mm.
But I'm more my personal priorities. Of course, I like making money, but I also don't like
It's the
sacrificing
yeah, it's
my musical integrity. I don't want to do
it's
things
the art.
musically where I don't want to represent myself poorly. I don't want to do anything that sucks. In other words, I would never do something that sucks, because to me everything's about ultimate delivery in music. You have to fucking blow people's minds. If you're not blowing people's minds, and that's just my standard for music, almost like perfection. So
No, I get you though, because like it's like, what's the point of doing something if it isn't good? In a way, you know.
yeah. So quality, I prioritize quality over quantity. But anyways, but you know how it is with any domain, whether it's music, gamers, whatever. There's always like people that are the best, and they typically rise to the top. And then there's like the average people. They do things. You know, there is a degree of quality that I think people expect. Like if you're a singer, you want to sing in tune. I don't care if it's like pop or metal, but you want to sing in tune, right? And there's a right way to do stuff.
Yep.
But anyways, but I'm going off. I don't know what the fuck I'm going with that
I don't know.
tent rant, but
I know singing out of tune all too well. I only did backup when I was drumming, but because I do a lot of the guitar and stuff. It's similar to what you do with the bass. Play for people. They always, because they see the keyboards, they see me with the guitar, they go, "Oh, you're a singer." I go, "No, I sing, but I'm not a good singer." And I find that's one of the hardest things to do because I have a voice that could be probably good. I got that low register.
Right.
I can hit some Sinatra, some, House of the Rising Sun, Animals kind of shit. Anybody ask me anything other than that? Nah, I can't do that.
Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah, I'm in a similar place with my voice. I have a voice that's not as developed as my bass playing. Like when it comes to my bass playing, because I've been doing it so long, it's like second nature. I can play almost anything by ear, almost anything. But when my vocals, I mean, I have potential in my vocals. I just started practicing like drills, little vocal exercises that are helping my range, sing. And so I'm practicing my voice like the way I practice my bass now. So so I know what things should sound like. So I'm a perfectionist. I'm not gonna make a video of me singing unless I think it's like to the standard of somebody like James Hetfield or something, or fucking the guy from Red Hot Chili Peppers, something that's that sounds pretty good. But just for the sake of not annoying my audience, because I think that some people just, I don't know, maybe they don't have the honesty to recognize, hey man, you're just not there yet.
Well, I think that's one of the best things about people trying to like sing is that when you listen to a recording of yourself, I guarantee you, even if you nail that, you're gonna think it sounds like shit, right? Or do you get it? Or do you feel? Do you feel like an honest, like when you nail it and you go, "Yep, that's how it sounds." Like, are you actually able to feel that?
I think so, man. I think so because I've been in bands with some badass fucking singers. I'm talking about people that can sing like Bruce Dickinson. No exaggeration. They could hit notes like nobody's fucking business, dude. So I know what stuff should sound like, and that's another level of singer. Bruce Dickinson is an operatic level of singer, like from Iron Maiden, right?
Oh, I know Iron Maiden all too well.
Right, or Judas Priest, right, or Rob Halford. Those guys sing third octaves high from their standard notation tone. They could sing the middle note, and then the third note, the third octave. So
I dare anybody who says they're a singer to sing Aces High and get that Aces High to hit that.
Right.
That's impossible. Like, come on, what are we doing?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to embarrass myself right now, but I've been working on those kinds of things where
the falsetto.
Right? So yeah.
I mean, I couldn't tell by the everything about your background that you were an Iron Maiden fan, but
Right, yeah, they're one of my favorite bands, man. I've covered so many of their songs, but yeah, that's why I'm.
Damn, I actually haven't heard any of your covers of them. Again, I'm very well familiar with them, not only instrumentally, but apparently, when I was getting into guitar at the age of 13, I asked my mom, she was a drug dealer, drug addict, she was kind of a crazy lady, let's just say that, and I go, "Hey, Ma, you like music?" Because she got me into music, classic rock. The first album I ever had on vinyl was House of the Rising Sun by the Animals because she gave it to me. She was a big Bob Dylan fan, this and that. I go, "Hey, Ma, do you know Iron Maiden?" She laughed and she goes, "Ha, Iron Maiden, the only band dumb enough to buy coke by the gram." She sold Iron Maiden cocaine.
That's insane.
Because apparently she had a friend who would transport bands from the airport of Boston to the TD Bank Garden. Her being an entrepreneur, let's say, would set up her shop on that van. And because Iron Maiden being out of country band, they weren't transporting it over the air. This is previous to, I think, how Bruce Dickinson Bruce Dickinson owning or having a license to fly. This is before. Yeah. What is that? What do they call their airplane?
Oh, Air Force One, I think.
The Air Force. Yeah. Either way.
Ed Force, yeah, Ed Force One. Yeah, that's insane how they have their fucking own commercial plane, man. Yeah, that to me, Maiden is one of the most ultimate
Oh, they're
fucking legendary.
when anybody says
No.
a metal band, I go, well, you mean Iron Maiden, because that is what metal is.
Yeah, they're certainly they've defined the genre to some level, like that 80s heavy fucking metal. Yeah, for
Yeah,
a long time, but
a
what was
lot
it
of
going
people like
back
to
to
say
your
they're
previous
power
question?
metal, but I'm like, nah,
Uh-uh.
that's what OG metal is.
That's heavy fucking. That's like the root. Well, it's hard to debate, right? Because you could
Sabbath
argue
was one
that
of the OG metals. Iron
yeah, you
Maiden.
could argue Black Sabbath created the first metal riffs, like Sabbath and Dio, because they're like
Dio, yeah.
70s, late 60s, early 70s. Those, Rainbow. What else? There's the precursors to like Maiden and Metallica and Priest. Even Priest is pretty early too. But yeah, all those guys, I think they're pretty
Yeah,
legendary. All of them.
yeah,
Well, Kiss is not really metal. Kiss is more like rock and roll. Kiss.
yeah. I mean, hey, that's actually one of the other bands my mom sold drugs to. Believe it or not.
Well, that I believe, man. Gene Simmons. I mean, those guys are. I've heard those guys have partied like no other band.
Yeah, I got Peter Chris's drumsticks because of that shit.
It's insane, man. Is that the drummer?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, then Van Halen is badass too.
Alex Van Halen. No, he was the bassist. Shit. Yeah, I always forget
Yeah.
the drummer of Halen, and that's a shame on me because the dude was nasty.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't know, man. I studied when I got into bands. My favorite bands were Metallica, Iron Maiden, and Slayer. Maiden, Slayer, and Metallica were the bands that I actually studied all their CDs, band members. Like they were like almost like the way people study baseball cards and they're little players of teams in baseball. That's kind of how I did with those bands when I was a kid. Um, that Slayer, man, fucking Slayer. It's
Yeah.
super controversial.
Well, but besides Slayer, you said Metallica. How do you feel about Les Claypool being denied the position of the bassist of Metallica?
I remember that, man, when they were auditioning, right?
Yeah,
I think it's
before
a
they picked up
compliment. I think that's
Trujillo.
totally that to me that was just like a compliment, really, because in reality, because that guy's so capable, songwriting, like not just technical wise, he can play the bass like a motherfucker, he sing and play,
He's
but then
too
he
good.
composes
Les
music.
Claypool is a monster.
He's a lead musician in a band. So for him to go into Metallica, he'd have to like limit his capability. Why would you do that? Why
Yeah.
would you limit yourself? Because Metallica, you're probably going to play more of a backing up, supportive role instead of like a lead role. So maybe it was just because he thought it would be interesting to try out. Maybe just like publicity. Hey, it's an opportunity to meet Metallica. Maybe just to go try out.
I know. I kind of
Um,
wondered why he did that.
but I thought it was cool because I think I heard him play Master of Puppets. I heard him play
Yep.
Master of Puppets like on slapping. I was like, fuck,
Yeah,
this
it was.
sounds
I think
fucking
it was
badass.
Woodstock '99. He did that.
Okay,
But
that was back then, man.
one
Yeah.
of
Okay, it's so
one of my
insane.
favorite points in Primus was, I think it was the 1998 Stanford radio recording of them. They were doing a local college radio, Stanford, and at one point he goes, hey, the radio DJ goes, "Hey, do you guys want to, you want to say anything?" He goes, "Hey, we're Metallica and we're damn glad to be here." And he goes, "No, you're not."
Yeah, I love Metallica. I look up to all of those guys in that band. I mean,
Uh,
they've gone through so many fucking crazy experiences. Like not just like their highlights of music success, right? With the music they became famous, but also like their inner drama and like drug addictions, and they got into fights and all that stuff. So, and they're still together. They're still together now. They're playing
well,
fucking huge arenas now. They're still going. It's pretty
they
crazy.
just replaced the drummer. The drummer left.
Really, Lars
Oh no, not Metallica. Sorry, I was talking about Primus.
from Metallica. Oh, okay. Fuck. I
All
was
right, yeah,
talking
no,
Metallica.
no,
Okay.
yeah, no, no, yeah.
Oh,
I'm also surprised that Metallica is still holding together with all their internal struggles.
yeah, dude. Because fucking James Hetfield, when he was a young kid, he lost his mom. He lost his mom, and his dad took left, and he was young. He started fucking drinking, and like, imagine having that background, and then being successful as he was in Metallica throughout Master of Puppets, Kill 'Em All, like the early '80s, and then his fucking bass player dies.
And
Cliff
yeah,
Burton gets fucking
and then you
crushed.
go into the studio and your drummer can't keep a fucking time.
And yeah, there's that dynamic. Like, those two guys seem like very, strong-minded, kind of opinionated personalities, right? Lars is, so I've heard stuff, about, stories I've seen in interviews, and I just think like it's interesting how a band could be that famous and that revered, and you have all these issues, right? But they're still like they're still accomplishing a lot of the legendary feats. They got like, I think he got nominated for what? At this point, they're like a Hall of Fame. They're like a huge band, so they're up there in the Hall of Fame, I think. Some,
I mean, look at Fleetwood
but
Mac
it's
for internal struggles. If you look
mhm.
at Fleetwood Mac, they were all cheating on each other and sleeping with everybody else in the band, and it was a that was way worse of a struggle. At least Lars wasn't fucking James.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stories like that. Music, it's kind of typical of music, of bands to have all these problems. So I respect any artist that doesn't give up. That doesn't give up. It's not easy. Fucking, just because they're big and famous doesn't mean they're not human. They don't have fucking demons. Like the non-famous person, the average non-famous person in your local town that's not a musician, also has the same problems. It's just that you don't hear about him because he's just the average person. Nobody cares about an average person's drama. But when it becomes celebrities' drama, there's still human nature at play. So,
Yeah, we've just put them to that level of like importance where we somehow care more about these people because they're famous.
well, to some degree, it's the fans, but it's also like the channels of media, because the channels of media are gatekeepers, and they decide who's on stage to some level. So, and then, so I don't necessarily blame. I feel like there's always two people to blame. It's easy to attack the artist. Like for me, it's like, as a fan of musicians and people that are famous, and it's too easy to just start getting mad at the artist. But who's to say that you, as an average person, wouldn't have blown your brains out like way long? If you were in the same scenario, you would have gave it to cocaine and hookers so fast, you would just fucking wouldn't be here, right? Because it's a different level of pressure, to be famous, because you can't go out and have nobody not recognize you, and then how the fuck, and it's not normal. You don't have a normal life as a celebrity, right? So I can't imagine what he can do to you. But there's some guys that are humble, like Kane. This is not a musician, but actually is a musician. Fucking Keanu Reeves, right? Fucking John Wick, an A-list celebrity on Hollywood. He's in a band, but then you hear stories from people that interact with him. He's a super chill, down earth dude. He doesn't, fucking kind. He gives shit away. He gives a lot of his money away to certain friends and cars and shit. I've heard stories, and I'm like, okay, that's the kind of personality. I mean, if I ever got to a level like that, I would hope that I would preserve that character. You know,
Oh, oh yeah, man.
hey,
I honestly want to be one of the first famous people that gets insanely fucking famous that continues to be with their girlfriend before they got famous and after. You know,
yeah, it
I
happens.
want to be
Yeah,
that
some guys pull it off, man. You
because I honestly have no interest in any of the ladies. I got my lady. That's good enough for me. I want to be one of
Well,
those
we'll see.
dudes.
Well, that's easier to say, and but once women start throwing themselves at you, man, and you
Nah,
start seeing what's out there, man.
nah, man. See,
But I'm not.
you're familiar
Yeah.
with the online uh, intricacies and whatnot of talking to random strangers. You've
Oh
probably
yeah,
been
all too well.
you've probably been flashed a time or two.
What's funny? It's very interesting when you have, because as a guy, the social norm as a man. The social norm is for men to approach women and for men to make the moves towards women. That's just the social norm, right? Men make moves on women, and you try to impress the woman. The woman decides whether she's impressed with you or she says you're a fucking loser. That's just how it works. General. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying that's how it usually works. But it's very interesting when you have girls that are making the effort. Because to me, when I was younger, I wasn't having a lot of that. I was just being very honest. I was kind of an introverted kid into music. I wasn't like the popular fucking jock guy in the high school. I was just a very introverted kid who very unassuming, right? But interestingly enough, man, throughout my mid 20s, when I was getting really popular in my local regional scene, when I started to experience some of that social stardom, I began to notice that women they would willfully make efforts very directly, hug me. They would pull me close into them. They would want to take a picture, and then they rub their boobs up against me, like type of shit. It's like, okay, I get what you're doing. It was very interesting. I wasn't gonna say I wasn't like into it, but it's just like so weird because guys have to earn it. Like guys have to earn chicks throwing themselves at you. It's just, I mean, unless like you're really good fucking looking or something, or you just have a natural charisma. But I've experienced some of
Yeah.
that in the live scene, and I saw it online. I've seen it online a lot, actually. I've had girls tell me that they love me. Uh, Younger women, I'm not saying they're not of age, but this is what they're doing. I'm not inducing anything,
Yeah,
you know.
no, you're
But
good.
and it's just so strange, because I think it's a reaction to the persona. Like they're impressed with the persona, this kind of image that I have. That they just met me, and they're like, "Oh my God, I love this guy." Well, you don't have no clue who I am,
Yeah, you'll
So
hate
so
you'll
that
hate
just
me in 2 weeks.
right. So it just shows me that it's not. It's I don't get too blown away by it because I just think it has to do with the image. It's like I don't know, man. It's just weird, and you don't know people and they're like, dude, it's you. Like I'm just doing what I do.
No, I get what you're saying because,
You
like,
know?
dude, like I said, I'm a drummer, but I play guitar for people, and they get blown away, and I'm just like, dude, that's not like I don't know what I'm doing here. And
Right,
like
right. We're more honest with ourselves.
I had a girl a few like last week flash me, and I was
So
like, I
what was this?
literally
Was this an Omi TV?
no, it was on the chat roulette, but I literally went no 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 no
Oh,
no because I was like, dude, I have a girlfriend, I love her, I'm not looking for that. I feel like this was the
you're
most
very
alpha
loyal.
male thing ever. She apologized for showing her boobs.
Uh,
So a female apologized
uh,
for showing her boobs to me.
yeah, I wouldn't expect that.
That
I've
made
had some
me feel like
yeah.
I was the like top of the tier of alpha. I got you to say you're sorry for
Yeah,
something that every other man would die for.
I'd die for. Well, I think that even that reaction is to the other extreme. It's just a pair of chest. Every woman carries with them the tool, the sexual attraction. Every woman has it, right? But
Well,
I guess what I'm trying to say is that when I've experienced it, I don't know. I guess I don't get that surprised anymore. It's of course I'm a guy. I'm a dude. I don't have a fucking serious relationship,
yeah,
and I'm like, hey,
so
look,
it's
nice.
it's
I'll
all it's
I'll
all
say
good
what.
for you.
Hey, thanks. You know,
Exactly. No, don't get me wrong. I
but
was flattered. I was flattered by this lady, but I'm like, yo, I got tits in the other room that I like. Those are my tits in the other room. Like that's what I like.
yeah, man. I'm always careful too, right? Because I'm online. I don't know who the fuck's recording. Sometimes I'm recording. A lot of the times I'm screen recording, like for hours on end in the background as I'm just doing my thing and I'm screen recording everything. Um, it's just women, right? Women, that's what they do.
Yeah.
They throw themselves at you.
Like I said, I was incredibly flattered. I was like, damn, wow, look at that. That's good for me, I guess. Where were you 10 years ago when I was looking for a dirty slut?
Exactly, man. No, that's the interesting point that I think. It's like when you don't give two shits or aren't looking for it at all. It's like it's like fuck. It tries to interrupt you and get your attention. Like that's what I find interesting. If you're looking for it, it's like it runs away from you.
Is a
And if
million
you just
miles
focus,
away.
yeah, and if you stick to what you're here to do on Earth, which personal mission, everything else falls into place when you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, right? It's not forcing,
I like
So
that point of view. Like when you're doing everything you should be doing, kind of thing. Because like there's a big moralistic standpoint that I like to abide by, and it's just do your thing, kind of thing. Don't hurt other people, don't offend other people if you can try, and just be a good person overall. And it's like you said, something
yeah,
about that is somehow an attractive trait to some people when you're like, I don't care.
because it comes from a place of well, there's abundance, right? Because if you're desperate and you need it and you fucking have to have it, there's an energy of like this shit's getting away from me. It's an energy. It's
It
a
really
particular type of
is.
energy, And whenever I have noticed those types of effortless encounters with women, I was just doing my thing, fucking jamming. I was doing my thing, man. That's it,
Yeah.
jamming.
Yeah, like I
But
said, man, I just try to go on, entertain people, learn some songs they want to hear, and just entertain. That's the idea. Is just be an entertainer. Whether
yeah,
they
man,
want to do
it's just it's
trivia, whether they want to do an interview, whether they want to ask a song, I'm just gonna try to entertain those motherfuckers. That's what I
yeah,
do.
man. Fuck yeah. That's what people are looking for. I mean, I know that there's more important things for me personally than entertainment. I mean, it's hard to deny that entertainment is just it's easier for people to be a part of entertainment, right? Because entertainment is it's just passive. You go somewhere, like for example, you go to some theme park, theme park entertainment. You just go, you just get on rides and enjoy the entertainment. You enjoy the shows. It's something that an entertainer does for you. An entertainer
Yeah.
is there to try to do something. Oh, they're entertaining. He's doing backflips. He's fucking twisting his face in ways that I could never think humans could do. So it's always surprising. But I think that what's harder for me personally, our society needs a lot of change. I think that we have health crisis in our country. We have fucking the dumbing down of the minds of the individuals. So I think people are way too fucking stupid. So entertainment's great. Don't get me wrong. I love being entertained. I don't just like being bored or working my ass to shit like all day. But I think that you got to have some priorities in place. Now, people got to get healthier. They got to get smarter, and they got to get less angry. Like people are way too fucking angry and divided today. They're fighting for any little stupid difference in group, race. Like we just like to fucking argue all the time. And I'm like, dude, why are you
Yeah.
fighting all the time?
I know
So
there's so much radicalism and division in our lives nowadays. I mean, granted, there definitely was back before we were alive, but still, that's one of the reasons. One of the reasons, like you said, the dumbing down of people. That's one of the reasons I enjoy doing trivia with people is to show that we're all dumb pieces of shit.
yeah, but as long as people aren't rude. One thing I don't appreciate really with the new medium of social media is the bullying, like the trolling and the bullying, and because of the anonymity, right? Because people have anonymity, they can't be caught. They can put a picture of a fucking different person than what they are. So one of the things that I really appreciate is somebody who has the balls to authentically, this is my name, this is how the fuck I look, and these are my ideas, right here. There's no fucking hiding. This is my actual name. This is how I fucking look. These are my ideas, right? Too many people they don't have the balls to do that. They'll do it, and if they do it, they won't have their face or they won't have their real name, or one of the combinations. Right? So to me, it takes balls to be yourself. Fine, have any kind of opinion you want, but fucking put your face out there, man. Don't be fucking using somebody else's name, you know. all this
Yeah.
bullshit.
That's one of the things. Even though I go by on here Jelly or the Gelatinous One, if you go to my Instagram, you'll find my real name. I don't hide that. I don't know how to hide it, even if I wanted to. So, good enough. What are you gonna do? Steal my identity? Good luck. Take it. I don't care.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I try not to. Nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm sure I've lost my temperament in some interaction with some random dude, and I probably said some racially a racial slur, some misogynistic remark. But
Nah.
it's it's not easy to it's a challenge to control, have self control, exercise self control with random people online that could anything goes.
Oh
You
yeah,
know?
like you were saying about not offending people and stuff. I had an interaction earlier on tonight with some random people on the internet, and it was because Charlotte likes to do a duo function. You can talk with multiple people. I was talking to
Yeah, I
this
like
group of
that.
people who knew each other personally for a long time, apparently, and they didn't like the fact that I told them I was a comedian and I like to do roast comedy. You know, this lady mentioned this dude's haircut, so I was like, oh well, that's on the table for roasting. Let's talk about this guy's shitty ass bowl cut. They didn't like it. They got pretty upset. They said I was being mean. And I'm like, I'm doing jokes here. These are jokes. You understand that?
Yeah, dude, I love comedy, man. Like one of my recent passions and just true appreciation, man, is just the comedic skill, right? Because these comedians, they look at the world in a particular way, and then they come up with these interesting analogies, and they have these deliveries and these stories, and it's such a wonderful fucking ability, man. What
Well,
I fantasize? I have fantasized recently going to maybe one of
stand
my
up
favorite comedians' local shows and just sitting in the front, purposely sitting right in front of my favorite fucking comedian,
to
just
get
starting
some
to
crowd
fucking
work.
roast the shit out of me.
You
Huh?
know? Yeah, to get some crowd work
I
done on
want,
you.
yeah, you just fucking go off, bro, because I'm curious about how he would make fun of me. Like, what would the fuck, the Mexican skin tone, hair.
Uh,
Look at this motherfucker, right? And I am just like curious what kind of jokes he would come up with for me,
See,
right? So,
that's one of the ideas of the entire podcast. Like I said, I interview you, I get to know you, and that's why I'm able to make roast jokes about you that aren't just you look like a, you sound like a. I can actually make some real remarks based on who you are because I know you now, kind of thing.
oh yeah, that's a lot,
And
lot easier.
that's
Way
why
more.
that's why I use chat roulette as almost a crowd work exercise.
Okay, I see. That's pretty interesting.
It's
Okay, the trivia
fantastic because
question.
you never know what's going to happen,
Yeah.
and you have to roll with the punches. And there's no threat of ever getting attacked by some drunk dude in the crowd.
Yeah, that sometimes happens, man. People get triggered.
Exactly.
Um,
But on here, what are they going to do? Next you?
right. Yeah, it's a safer place to practice different types of things.
You don't get
People have,
you don't quite read the room, and you don't quite get the delivery you want, but it can work if you know how to run it.
yeah, dude, I've had some people see me and they call, a lot of people call me Jesus, right? And at a certain point, it's just like, dude, what am I gonna do? Bow down and worship me right now,
Yeah,
right? I just start
I've been
running. I
called
start running
Stoner
with it. Yeah,
Jesus. I've been called Tommy Chong. I've been called every version of a stoner.
right. Fucking, it's like Charles Manson is another. If they want to try to be offensive, I never get offended. Charles Manson or Rob Zombie. Rob Zombie is a cool comparison. That's not really an
I've gotten
insult.
Rob Zombie before too. You
Yeah,
look more
like
like
Rob
Rob
Zombie,
Zombie than
man.
I do, though. You have the mustache that fills out.
Yeah, man. People tell me I look like Jared Leto and some other motherfuckers I never knew nothing about
Jared
until
Leto,
they.
I can
And
see that.
when they made the comparison, I looked these people up, and I'm like, these people keep throwing all these names. I look up the people that are not comparisons that I don't usually hear. Fucking talk, and I'll look it up. I guess because I'm curious, but which is fine. I have these wristbands, and I have these wristbands because I practice my guitar. They support my wrists, and I've had little shitheads tell me, "Dude, what is this guy like a WWE wrestler? This guy's a fucking wrestler. He's wearing wristbands. It's a
I
fucking
would have figured
WWE."
suicide attempt, but you know.
Okay, that's more of a dark idea, but and I don't know, man. I started like just thinking it's funny, man. Like some of these things are I'm easy to make fun of because I have a particular look. It lends itself for all kinds of shit, right? Hey, fucking Jesus, this and that. But to me, it's like I'd rather look like this than look like nothing to remark about. Like just some guy with a hat, fucking cat, some
Yeah.
shirt,
I
But
mean, the only reason I look like what I am is one, I like having long hair. It's a distraction from all my other features. I have a beard because if not, I look like a toddler. So I hide my double chin with a nice beard. I keep this look for that exact reason.
yeah, you look like a stoner. You look like a '90s. You give me a '90s vibe. Maybe it's just the colors of your room and the things they have. Um, you got that '80s stoner '90s kid. How old are you?
I'm 30.
30. Oh, well, you're pretty young. I'm
So
38,
30.
right?
Yeah, no, I was born in '94.
Yeah, so you're my brother's age. My brother's was born '91. No, my brother's. Oh, sorry, he's probably younger than you. But it's still, I grew up with skateboarding. I grew up with Pokemon cards. I grew up with marbles. I grew up with
Mm.
smart yo-yos, Omega,
I
fucking.
got a
Oh,
tech.
dude,
I got a tech deck right here. Zero power. Shout out Zero. Oh, he has an inReach
these are tech
too.
decks. They're fucking dusty.
This is from when I was a kid. This is the OG tech decks.
Say, yeah, I can
Those
tell
are the
the grip tape.
OG Oh, yeah, the OG wheels and the grip tape. Oh
These
no.
are very worn out. This is a real board. Company real.
Yeah, no, that was a real board too. I played that board in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. That's why I love that as a tech deck
Yeah.
because I played Jamie Thomas with the Zero power board.
Dude, fuck yeah, man. I love Tony Hawk. Yeah, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. That was a different generation, man. I keep seeing these little short videos on YouTube. They're like these little short videos, and it's like a little slideshow of a bunch of like nostalgia photos of things from the '90s, and they keep passing them. I keep seeing them on the newsfeed. Like, hey, if you were born, it has this weird soundtrack in the back of like kids running and yelling, and it makes you feel like shit
Yeah.
that you grew up. Because then I'm watching, like, what the fuck happened?
Man, well,
And then people are
I like to
commenting,
think
like,
about that. I go, damn, man, back in the day, let's say 15. I'm 30, so no, more than 15 years ago. Let's say 20 years ago, I was sitting in my room playing N64, having a great time. Now what I'm doing is getting drunk and high, playing N64 in my room, and I'm having a great time. Nothing
exactly.
changed.
Nothing fucking changed, dude. And that's how I feel about it too. Like exactly, bro. It's exactly what I thought. I thought these people who are like crying about how those were the best days, well, those are the fuckers that grew
Boot
up.
up the N64,
They grew
bitch.
up. Yeah, dude, I have all the emulators, right? So I have the emulators for the Super Nintendo. I have the Nintendo USB controller, and I have a
Nice.
Nintendo 64. So I have the Nintendo 64 USB controller, and the emulator for that. So the emulator it's on the computer, right? You can play all
Yep.
the ROMs.
I've ran that before.
And I did a stream like a week ago. I did on Twitch. I streamed N64. I was playing Mario Kart, Wave Race. I was playing Turok 2, the Dinosaur Hunter.
I was about to say,
playing fucking
you're talking about
10
Turok Dinosaur Hunter?
Yeah,
Because then
Dinosaur
they
Hunter,
also had
Turok 2.
the Turok that was like Unreal Championship too. The what is it? A black cartridge?
Oh, dude, I don't have the cartridge.
The tournament
But it's the
one?
game. I used to have the cartridge. I used to have that black cartridge, but I was playing the emulator. But I was playing these games. I think 1080 snowboarding. I don't know if you ever
Oh,
got into
fuck
1080
1080.
snowboarding. You know, like it.
I know it was a good game. It was just so hard to do. Like when you were doing that initial run, it was so hard to actually hit the 1080. Like
Yeah,
when you're
1080.
doing you got
Yeah,
to do
the
all the
moves.
tricks.
Yeah, it's pretty.
It was like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
it was like
The
the
bunch of
intro to
fucking moves.
Driver.
Yeah.
You had to do
Uh,
all those things.
yeah, I know what you mean. I know how to do a 1080. It. Once I learned it, it became muscle memory. But it's like a bunch of other moves combined. It's like you fucking have to spin the joystick like 360 and then B, R, and then you have to do it again. It's like a huge combo. It's like a ridiculous combo, but once you get used to it, it becomes like you keep trying it. But it is hard to do. Like it's super. It's a combo. It's a huge combo.
Yeah, no,
Like a
I could
1080.
I could never get to that point. I would just play like versus mode with people.
Yeah, it's a fun game, man, and I love those times, man. That's why I still play these games. I still,
I
to me,
mean,
it's like fucking.
let's
Why
let's
would I
be
stop?
honest though. Let's be honest. Tricky SSX blew it out of the water.
Oh, what's that? I don't think I played that. What is that game?
SSX and SSX Tricky were the the snowboarding skiing games that just demolished that industry of
Oh,
N64 snow sports.
oh, I wasn't familiar with those. I never heard of those.
Yeah, it got popular on the GameCube, I think, with SSX Tricky.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because I stopped the last consoles that I purchased in the '90s was the N64. It was N64. So I had Super Nintendo. I owned a Super Nintendo. I owned a regular Nintendo. I owned a Sega Genesis. I owned a Game Boy Pocket Color, and I had N64. But then after N64, I didn't because I got into music and skateboarding, and I started spending money on that shit. I didn't buy any consoles until like 2016 or 18. I bought a PS2. After that, I bought a PS. I'm sorry, PS3. PS3. So everything between N64 and PS3, I just, it's all blank. I just never went to all, I
Damn.
never bought the games and I played them. I kind of big gap there.
Yeah,
But
you lost out on a golden period of gaming there.
I've heard. I've had my gamer friends tell me about it. But then again, I don't regret it because I was also fucking played a bunch of clubs, fucking blowing a bunch of people's minds on
Yeah.
stage. So it's a trade off.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you that blowing people's minds playing music live is much more fun than replaying Ocarina of Time.
Oh yeah, it's priceless. But
Don't get me wrong, no shade thrown to the Zelda franchise, but come on.
yeah, Zelda was good. Yeah, Zelda's universally respected. You know.
You hear they're making a movie apparently.
Oh, really? I didn't hear about that.
Yeah,
Oh,
apparently in 2027
no.
there's going to be a Legend of Zelda movie release.
Okay, that's cool, man. You know what? Speaking on the movies based on video games, I just saw fucking Sonic 3. I never got into Sonic.
Like Sonic 3, like I've only seen the original new Sonic.
So I saw Sonic 3. Sonic 3 is Jim Carrey's on. I think he's on all of them, right? So they made movies based on the Sonic the Hedgehog game.
Yeah,
It
I
was
saw
very
the
very good,
first.
man. Sonic 3 is very. It's probably the best one. Like they actually top that movie actually combined all the best things about movies in one. Like the first two, it was actually it was
Huh.
the best movie in the trilogy, I would say. And I don't want to spoil it, but it's funny. There's action. There's humor. There's a good storyline. So there's a good storyline that's emotional that sucks you into the characters. So there's a good storyline. There's a good act, a lot of action, fucking intense action, and then there's a good amount of humor. Good amount of humor. It's also fucking Jim Carrey. So I think it did a great job with that movie for being like a cartoon, fucking Sonic video game movie. It was very very good. Yeah.
All right, now a question I like to ask a lot of people, especially because we're talking about video games here. What do you have any notable video game spazzes? Like, you're mad at a family member, a friend, or you're playing online and you just spaz out because, fuck these cheating bitches kind of thing. You ever
So
break a controller? You ever throw a controller? You ever fight a family member due to gaming? Like anything like
nah,
that?
dude, nah. You know what? That's an interesting question because I've never became that frustrated during gaming. I have friends. I've had a lot of friends who they just take it so fucking personal,
Yeah,
right?
some
They
people
just
get
fucking
sweaty
like
and
they want.
salty.
I think that for me, I've never because gaming. I think that I became that way on Ome TV. Whenever I'm not jamming, like if I'm not playing my instrument on Ome TV and I'm just kind of interacting directly with people for a certain period of time, if it's a lot of fucking annoying asshole rude fucks, then I start turning into like I hope robots destroy humanity and destroy. I start becoming like dark. That's the only thing that actually turns me that way. Where I start thinking the worst of human nature is just direct dumbasses, for a good amount of time. But not gaming. Like that's the thing that turns me into that person who wants to like find these assholes. Where the fuck does this guy live? You
Oh no,
know?
I get you, man. I've been playing a little bit of online gaming, like competitive style gaming, and that kind of shit. When somebody like messages straight up, like in the game chat, like "Yo, fuck this person on our team," and you're like, "That's me. Fuck you. Fuck you." And you just start. It ruins your day. It's like, what? Why? My stats are better than yours. What are we talking about here? And
I used to, yeah,
yeah, it just
I used
gets
to
you
entertain
going.
people like that a lot more. I used to entertain it and feed into it and start arguing back with a lot of people. But then I
Oh
got
yeah.
tired, man. I started feeling so stressed out, man, so pissed off. I'm talking about pissed off to the point where like my anger from the internet people, I'm starting to take it out at home. I'm taking it out on the road at my business and other shit because it's like pissing me off that bad. Then I thought like, who the fuck? Like it's just not worth it. I stopped exposing myself to people like that. And I learned that the best thing to do is to give them no fucking reaction or to move on, because what they want is a reaction. What they want is to control you via. So that's the thing. And once you recognize that and you understand that you're at a higher level. So that's what I learned. These people are fucking peasants. Most of these people are
Yeah.
peasants. I should not even allow them to fucking interact with me unless I feel like it, right? Because that's what I realized. A lot of people online, they don't have any. They're just bored. I'm sorry to say it, man, but they have no productivity to offer whatsoever. Not to society,
Yeah.
not to the family, not to anybody else. So why would us? If we consider ourselves entertainers, up here, eagles, we're flying in the fucking third sky. Why the fuck would we go down here, right? So that's what I realized. It's just like eagles don't fuck with chickens. We don't fuck with chickens, right? So that when that switch, I was like, yeah, dude, I have bigger fish to fry.
No. So
Fuck these cocksuckers.
that's why anytime anybody gets angry in like a video game, like I've been playing. I'm gonna name drop. I've been playing, and I know I sound like a basic bitch here, but I've been playing Overwatch 2. I was an old Team Fortress player, so Overwatch is it's the only thing like it. Whatever. But people get way too sweaty and salty on there, and they'll message and be like, "Oh, like why are you this character?" It's like, "Cause I'm gonna destroy." Like, what do you mean? Like, yeah, you should be this. It's like, no, I'm gonna be what I want to be. Cause first of all, this is a video game. I'm trying to enjoy myself. That's what a
Right.
video game is for. Second of all, shut the fuck up.
Dude, I used to have a friend that he played Magic the Gathering. Magic the Gathering, he played it all fucking day. And when I would talk to him on the phone,
Like physically, he would play
he
Magic the Gathering, not like an online thing.
No, it's an online one. It's an online one, but the
Okay.
community of other people, like it's like a live, a multiplayer game. And I would talk to him. I would call him almost every other day, and we would shoot the shit. We would shoot the shit about comedy, about life, about just stuff. He was a funny guy. He was an interesting guy. But then whenever he would get into that fucking game, he would get so pissed off, bro. And like he got so angry, and I noticed, like, dude, you gotta chill the fuck out, man. And and I always noticed, like, it's not worth it, man. Like, and the guy owned a business. He owned a fucking like a business that's like he owned a serious business, right? He had a badass house. He had like a multi-million-dollar house.
He's
This
getting
fucking
mad about
guy.
magic.
And I was like, dude, do you realize that the fucker on the other side is some overweight, disgusting person? Because I knew him personally, my friend. I knew the life he has. Like, you're in such a good situation, man. And whenever he would get mad about something like that, I thought, like, it's just not worth your emotional investment, right? Because if you're gonna get that fucking mad, you might as well stop playing. If because he start cussing, and I was like, dude,
Oh
and
yeah.
I kind of understand because I've been there, but then I had to snap out of it too. Like I had to snap out. For me, it was Omigo and Ome TV, in places like that. Whenever I had just low shitheads, but that's why I don't go on there. I don't go on there every day. I used to go on there almost every other day. So now I go on there 2 hours. So I've limited my exposure to Ome TV for 2 hours at a time, like 2 hours max. Get as best content as I can, and then I won't go on there for like another week. It's just once, 2 hours a week. That's pretty moderate. It's very moderate. 2 hours once a week, right?
Okay.
I'm a lot happier now. I'm a lot fucking happier, man. It's trust me, man. It's so toxic, man. Like if you spend like at least 5 to 6 hours on a site like that every other day of the week, like 4 times a week, you'll see the worst in human nature, just the worst human nature out there, man. It's just unbelievable.
No, you're definitely right with that. Like in my experience, I run into a lot of people who I wouldn't normally conversate with if I were in a public setting. But like, let's just say, for example, I've ran into Nazis, and even at that point, I go, well, let me talk to you. Let me ask you about this. Even though I know they're a terrible person, they're a horrible like their beliefs are fucked up, I want to go, why? Why are you like this? Like, and
Yeah,
that, I
it's
mean,
an interesting. Yeah.
but some of it does wear you down to the point where you're just like, fuck these people. I'm done with this. I can't do it.
It's an interesting experiment. Like honestly, I still don't regret it. I've had good interactions, bad interactions, but even looking back, even the most stressful and unpleasant interactions were all constructive in the end. Even though I've decided that I wasn't gonna repeat particular ones because I have a particular agenda. Like I'm also like, okay, I get the point. I talk to different kinds of people. You learn how different people are. If you're a curious mind, I'm a curious mind. I like to see the world through other people's lenses. If it could be
Yeah.
civil, if it could be a civil exchange and it doesn't reduce to name calling and some kid bullshit, then of course you can be a fucking Nazi, fucking Satanist, child sacrificing, whatever. I don't give a shit. That's pretty extreme. But but if you can fucking talk to me and but a lot of people don't do that. They just start cutting you off and they'll start attacking your image and then well this is no longer a debate, neither an exchange. This is just like what little kids do
Yeah.
when you're in school. They just you're an ugly bitch. You're an ugly bitch. Well, they're not gonna go anywhere. It's just calling people stuff, you know.
Yeah, it's
So
a one-way conversation.
yeah, so if people start that immediately,
Well, see, that's
I'm gone.
why I love
Fucking done.
being a comedian is because when they start doing that, if they're actually listening, you can turn that around on them with a clever, a nice wording or question. You can Uno
Yeah.
reverse it right back to them, and then they're on the spot, and then they go, shit.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It could be done. I the other time I saw a dude, there was, and then I started trolling because people were trolling me. And you know, I start fucking. I'm gonna lean into all these fucks. Right? You want troll? I'm gonna fucking give you troll. And then I saw some fucking young kid, like 19, with like a little fucking golden chain. He had like little short hair, fucking wannabe thug. And I'm like, what? And he was going like this. He was looking into the camera and going like this. I'm like, it's not gonna help you, dude. It's not gonna help you get any chicks, you know. You're wasting your fucking time because you know what the fuck you doing this for? Nobody's gonna stop to talk to you.
Nah,
And
see,
any girl worth her shit.
I would have fake
And that's
encouraged
kind of
him. Been like, dude, that's gonna
and
get all of the pussy. You are
and
totally
that's kind
getting
of
it tonight.
yeah, your little fucking nice haircut like every other little wannabe pretty dude. Yeah, and I'm on there, right? And I get a bunch of interactions with people and chicks, and I recognize, dude, you're an average dude. You have an average fucking room. You have an average fucking way of speaking. You have an average look. You're not that fucking interesting. And then chicks, uh, especially today, because they have the social media options, they're not gonna stop and entertain you at any capacity if you're not out of the ordinary, right? And look at you. You have fucking two shades of fucking glasses. But
Two
that's
shades.
and that's what I thought. Like, and that's gotta be a dick. In all honesty, that was kind of a dick move, just kind of putting this guy down. But I did it because I'm like, dude, you kids are fucking. You got to go and do something remarkable. You got to get off this shit, develop a remarkable skill, or fucking have. Because if you're just waiting there and you're like, oh, they're gonna talk to me, like every other fucking dumbass thinks they're gonna get attention. Every other fucking simp, thirsty fucking simp, think, oh, girls are gonna talk to me. You fucking kidding me, man? These girls want you to be a fucking celebrity. Even the fucking super average basic girls hope that you look as good as Brad Pitt and you can fucking sing and you can tell a joke and you have a cute fucking puppy at the background, right? And you don't have any of those fucking things, you know. So it's like you're not, you know. So it's just dumb, man. What these people are expecting out of this site, you know.
Yeah, no, that's why I don't understand why so many of those people just next and skip. It's like, what are you doing? Are you really spending 4 hours of your life nexting people until you get one hot girl who might talk to you? That seems so
Yeah, man. So,
unproductive.
well, that's exactly that's what I was saying earlier. It's but then again, this is the modern. This is the generation that grew up with technology. It's grown up with technology a lot younger than we did.
Man,
So
I
we,
was on chat roulette on 2008.
but I think that what's different is that, for example, when I was in elementary, a kid, the most advanced piece of technology that you could get distracted with was a Game Boy or your Nintendos. But even your parents gave you shit for playing Nintendo.
Oh
Too
yeah,
fucking much.
I had to
Right?
hand it over at the bus stop. My grandmother wouldn't let me take it to school.
Right, because that was considered like, hey, that's shooting up people in the game, just
It's
playing
like,
too much
bitch,
time.
I'm
What
trying
about
to play
homework?
Pokemon Yellow right now. I'm in the
And,
middle of a
and
battle.
all
I
the
can't
yeah,
save. Like, what
right.
do you expect me to do?
But little did they know that the future would require more of the same type of skill. Because I think that prepared us to be good at social media. What I've noticed is that the people that are not good at social media, they did not grow up with games. Like they're like, what the fuck is this stuff? I'm a dinosaur. I don't know how to use it to my advantage. But somebody who grew up with at least gaming in the background, they can use social. It's already interactive. It's similar to gaming. It's an avatar. Your social media profile is an avatar. It's like a character of a video game.
I was gonna
That's
say
all it
it's your
is,
character.
digitally.
It's your follow build.
Yeah. So, what was the point I was trying to make? Oh, yeah, going back to how some people use social media in comparison to others. I think there's a generational component and a cultural component. When I was a kid, I got bullied. I went to school. If you're not fucking, you're gonna get bullied. And if you don't stand up for yourself very quickly, you're not gonna make. You gotta fucking learn to stand up for
And
yourself very quickly.
why do you
you
think I
know,
got
so
in a why do you think I got in a comedy? Because of being bullied constantly, and that's why you develop the thick skin or carapace to make you, you get called a physically retarded faggot your entire life. You learn how to fight back against it. Learn how
True,
to
no, true.
bounce
There's a
back.
yeah, there's room for that, man. I don't mind a little bit of trolling, a little bit of fucking around with people. But then again, it depends on who you are, right? So I'm a musician. One of my current priorities is to make my music. I don't have an album out yet. I have a couple of single songs that I've released. So I have to learn a bunch of skill sets. I have to know how to record, how to get good vocal sound into my audio software. Like, there's all this shit that I have to do because I have an aim. I have a fucking vision. Most of these people online, they don't have a fucking aim. Whenever I talk to them, I go, what are you trying to do for the next 2 to 5 years? Do you have a fucking vision? Do you have a goal? No. Now, why the fuck would I waste my fucking time with you? Right? Time is the most limited resource that you have. Think about it. It's the only thing that fucking matters.
The only
So at a
time, the
certain
only
point, it's
time
like,
I'm concerned with is having a good one, buddy.
yeah, so the reason I decided to do this interview with you, right? I said, this guy, I fucking know who this guy is. I've talked to him. I've had nothing but good things to say, and I agreed, right? Because I'm like, this guy's gonna fucking further me. This guy's priorities line up with my priorities, right? We're both trying to do something similar in the same fucking sphere. Music, entertainment, it's professional. We're both professional. I said yes. If this would have been somebody else, maybe their quality of content would have not been as good or whatever, or they're not as entertaining as a person, I would have probably turned it down because then it's going to be associated with me. Maybe I lift them up for him being with me, and then I have good quality stuff. But it's like you have to choose whether something is going to benefit you or not, right? You have to make that judgment call.
Well, I
So
mean, the idea of this whole thing is basically giving a platform to those who might want one who don't have one, kind of thing. And like, whether you're trying to promote something or not, we don't give a shit. We just want to hear the regular people's voice. And you're a regular
I
dude,
see what you're saying.
you're a good dude. You have a
Right on.
regular, you have a regular mindset. You're
Yeah, I
not
try
you're
to
not
bust for a living.
radical. You're
I
not
have a regular
ins-
job.
Yeah, exactly. You're not an insane person going, "Well, let me tell you what my beliefs are," and pushing them on us. You're not doing any of that shit. You're a good dude.
Okay, I see. I try to be respectful. I try to treat people the way I would like to be treated.
Treat
It's a
people like
simple
you
rule.
want to be treated, as a quote from Rocket Power, good old '90s show. I like to be treated with ketchup and French fries.
Yeah,
I
exactly,
mowed
man.
my
Yeah,
dad's shag carpet. It grew back a week later.
I think it's a very powerful. I want to say commandment. It's a golden rule. It's they call it the golden rule for a reason. I think Jesus quoted it too. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Right. So it's, the same thing.
Well, I'm not jerking
I
my
think.
neighbor off, and that's how I love myself. Just saying, I might not abide by those commandments.
That's hilarious, man. I love that. That's what I like. That's funny. Exactly, man. But that's cool, man. I appreciate it. I try to treat people, nice, but I also don't let people fucking abuse me.
Oh, of
You start
course.
fucking being a dick, I'm gonna fucking return it twice as much, man. It's fuck with me, man.
That's one of the best. That's one of the best things I learned about comedy is you can make fun of somebody or you can hurt somebody if you know how to direct your energy in the correct way.
I know, right? But fucking make them squirm.
Like you
Make
can
them
roast somebody
squirm.
or you can roast somebody.
Dude, have you heard of David Lucas?
I'm a big Kill Tony fan. David
So are you
Lucas,
familiar with David Lucas?
he is not one of my tops because he does more of the you look like a you sound like a roast.
Okay.
And to me, that's
I
surface
see.
that's surface level shit. You don't do that. You get to know somebody, you get to
Okay.
learn them, and then you make things. He's good. Don't get me wrong. He's
Yeah.
a great comedian. He writes well, but his roast jokes have gone downhill so fast. He's ruining his career by being a little too surface.
I've seen, yeah, he's also not my top as well. But the only reason I
He's
brought him
good.
up is that Yeah, he's not my favorite comedian, but I brought him up because of the roasting thing. Because I've seen not too long ago, I saw one of his roasts like at some local small club, and some like fat lady in the front. I guess she wasn't having it. She kept interrupting the show, and he was doing jokes, and then she kept leaning into him, and then hecklers, right? And then he made her leave. Like he fucking roasted her so bad.
Yeah.
Everyone just fucking laughing. He made her fucking leave, and it was like the most brutal roast I've seen, even amongst the famous, like the Dave Chappelle and Bill Burr, and yeah, it was pretty hard. But then again, like the way that the lady was going at him was also very like she wouldn't leave it alone, and then he's you don't want to fucking leave it alone, and then he fucking destroyed her.
Yeah,
But
no,
yeah,
don't get me wrong.
it's a real
David
thing.
Lucas can roast like a motherfucker. He's really good, but when it comes to roast
She's like,
comedians, like he usually does surface shit. He'll usually just go with the cop out instead of what I call real writing.
I get what you're saying. He might just do like the
Don't get me
physical
wrong.
here.
He is
Yeah.
extremely talented. He's a great comedian. I have no issue with him. But
Well,
like
what are your thoughts on
you look at somebody
yeah,
like Bill Burr or Jimmy Carr, they destroy people.
right.
Like
I
yeah,
don't think yeah.
they just shut them down to the point where it's like, nope, you have nothing to come back with, and you're crippled from now on.
You should stop trying.
Exactly. Like Jimmy Carr is really good at doing it. It's might be half the accent. Having the British accent might help, but Bill Burr, the Boston accent also helps. Just going like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I love Bill Burr, man. He's one of my favorites. And I was going to ask you, keep saying but are you familiar with it's that white guy? There's a bunch of white fucking guys, but this guy's name is Owen something Owen. Okay, man. First name is
I don't think I'm familiar.
yeah, I'm not gonna remember, but he's pretty funny, man. He's a white guy, but he makes a bunch of like yeah, there's a bunch of black people jokes because he used to be married with a black chick. Guy's fucking name. These guys are not huge, but I kind of discovered him on YouTube just kind of randomly. There's also another guy who looks like an Indian. He's like a Mexican guy, but he looks like an Indian. He's also pretty. It's not huge, but he's really funny. So I'm blanking out with this fucking comedians.
See, that's my problem is I don't feel comfortable doing my sort of comedy in local open mics because it might be a little too racy for people.
They're gonna fucking protest you. They're gonna drag you off the stage.
Well, all the open mics around me are in like restaurants. Those people are there to eat. They're not there to listen to comedy.
Yeah, you're right.
They don't want to hear me doing
environment.
racial comedy while they're
Like,
eating their
Harry
fucking
Ball,
fish and chips.
Harry Ball jokes around their fucking family environment.
Like for example, we're talking about race shit. Because we're both music men. You probably got some hearing damage, right?
So what?
Hearing damage.
Not that I've noticed.
No, you don't. You
You
don't
know,
notice the tinnitus at all. A little bit of
well,
ringing.
it's very like I used to. Well, whenever I will get those things, tinnitus, it was very temporarily. So of course, if I like played a gig, let's say I played a gig tonight, played a gig, it's super loud in that club, it's super loud. Then the next night, I have tinnitus that night. Afterwards, then all throughout the morning, all throughout the night in the morning, and then I'll have probably the next day a little bit, but then it never lasted, man. It's always like a couple of days after it goes away. And I played with loud, even at practices. Whenever I rehearse in bands,
Yeah.
we practice at full level. We practice with our amps like up to like at gig level, fucking loudness.
Yeah.
I've never had.
Ready
You
to
know
get
what I think
mic'd
it is
up.
though? I have a theory though of what this might be. Why some people have it last and some others don't? Because it's just not the physical. I don't even think the root of the tinnitus for some people that think it is physical, like some sort of damage physically. I think it's the nervous system. And I'm going
Could
to
be.
give you some examples because when some people are their nervous systems are too overly sensitive. Let's say you drank a bunch of coffee. Let's say you haven't slept for 4 days straight. You haven't slept for shit 4 days straight. you're gonna be extra like sensitive to shit. You're just gonna be like on edge. Whenever your nervous system is that sensitive,
Yeah.
it hears the tinnitus more. Like almost everybody has a little bit of tinnitus, but whenever your nervous system is overly sensitive and overly fight or flight, it notices it more. So maybe the people that had the initial like loud concert and then stayed, maybe they have an oversensitive nervous system. Maybe they're paranoid about something. They're having emotional stress because if your nervous system is hyped up, it tunes in to the tinnitus a lot more. Like it just focuses on it, and it sounds loud. I mean, that's another component, but a lot of the medical system, they don't take that into consideration when it comes to the cause of the tinnitus, the emotional nervous system being too sensitive. So
True.
I'm just saying something to consider because I don't have it. I've been fucking playing live for fucking 20 years. Still listening to fucking music now.
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing live for about 15. But fucking, because of playing live, I think I got the, hearing damage and tinnitus and whatnot, tinnitus, as you say. But I got me one of them white noise machines. White noise machines, the static,
Yeah.
the waves, the ocean beach sounds, all that shit.
Right.
Got me one of
Yeah.
them, but because I'm a drummer, the shit wasn't loud enough, so I got myself a black noise machine. Shit was way too
Yeah.
loud. It sounded like inner city violence. They kept talking during my movies and TV programs. Couldn't had to get rid of that shit.
So I'm kind of similar to you. Like what I use for white noise is my AC. I always have the AC in the back, so it has a little bit of noise, and I have a fan. When I go to sleep, I have like this little fan in the background.
I like how you just
And I
ignored the
also-
pun. I like how you ignored the punchline of black noise.
Oh, I didn't ignore it. I actually maybe I did. Maybe it went over my head because of the type of humor that they're using. I wasn't ignoring you, but yeah.
We were talking about racial humor, so I figured I'd do my black noise joke.
Okay, I see.
You get it?
Okay.
White noise,
Yeah,
black
I
noise.
totally-
Come
yeah,
on.
I totally missed it.
It was way too loud. I had to get rid of it. It sounded
It
like
was a
inner
little
city
subtle. It was a little
violence.
subtle. Okay, no, I should have picked that up. It was a
Yeah,
little subtle. Maybe I was
that's
somewhere
because
else.
it's hard to do a joke on a webcam thing. So yeah, I try to make it as functional as possible. Like work it into the bit in a way. Because I'm not on
That's
stage
great.
here.
Yeah, of course, man. This is the best place to try out your jokes. What's the worst that can happen?
Well, I'm probably gonna get canceled. So I already had to remove a lot of
Fucking
content due to
floppy.
some other issues. So why not get
That's true.
canceled immediately?
Yeah, they banned me from OMA TV. So like yesterday, like some message popped up and it said that a significant amount of users have been reporting me consistently, so I was banned. They didn't say why, but I was just fucking jamming out. But it happens, man. It's fucking,
I mean,
they'll let all people flash their dicks, but then you say something, you question some norm in society, then they're like, hey, man, thinking crazy, questioning whether the fucking moon is real or not. I don't fucking know if it is or
Don't
not,
get me
but-
started on don't get us started on conspiracy theories. We're gonna have to turn this into a two-parter.
You're right, man. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, those things go so fucking.
The moon
deep.
is fucking hollow, as
Oh.
far as I know. But
I don't trust. See, and here's the thing: I don't doubt it fully, and I don't believe it fully. For at least where I'm at, because I haven't seen enough, maybe documentaries or information about it. But one thing I know is this: I don't trust mainstream media. If they lie about the propaganda, right? One of the more I guess here's why you might have to edit this stuff. But the most bullshit propaganda stuff that's really out there is the drugs in medicine, right? Because they
yeah.
control everything, man. And that's what it's.
oh yeah, the medical industry is
There's
fucked
no-
in the head.
There's no profit in cure. There's no profit in cure, so you're not gonna get it from there. But if they lie about that, then the food. What the fuck is real food? Nutritious food. That's another one. The food, farming, right? Where all that shit comes from. And so medicine and food, you have to do your own research. People have to
I don't
go on
know.
the.
Have you like just for instance, have you been noticing that every boxed food like pasta, everything else has tasted like shit for the past year?
I don't know what. I don't eat a lot of boxed food, man. I eat canned beans.
Yeah,
That's the only
can't.
shit I eat that's like in a can.
Yeah, no, but
Boxed food like pancakes. I mean,
no. Let's say you got a can of, I mean, a box of mac and cheese. You know, some good old, Kraft or
what?
something.
Yeah, right. I
That
love mac
that
and cheese.
pasta
Actually,
lately
that's
has
awesome.
been absolute garbage. And it's like, dude, this didn't taste like it
I would,
used to. I don't know if it's just me or if it's the fact that shit's getting cheaper and they're just putting more fillers in there. I think they're
probably,
just,
man. No, it wouldn't surprise me if that was the case because I used to really like Hamburger Helper, like the Hamburger Helper
yeah,
meat
hamburger helper, another
shit.
box food.
I loved it. But then, like after, like, but I stopped eating a lot of years ago because it would start making me feel nauseous. I would feel like throwing up after I ate it, just for like food
Yeah,
poisoning or some shit.
dude, I
So I stopped eating it.
swear. They started changing something in that shit.
Yeah, of course, it wouldn't surprise me because so many products have all these ingredients. Like if you look at the list, it's just if you look at some of these food documentaries, a bunch of food documentaries about they go into like all these ingredients. A lot of them are carcinogens ingredients. Like if you eat them long enough, you're gonna get fucking colon cancer and some system's gonna shut down.
Well, I mean, shout out Hamburger Helper. Let's say that. Shout out Hamburger Helper for your terrible boxed foods.
Or we're fucking naming specific companies, but anyways, but I'm be more general here. Conspiracies, I don't mind conspiracies, man. I got into conspiracies for so many years. The food ones, there's a lot that I agree with, but then I got tired of the complaining and the people ranting and bitching. There has to be a solution to things, and they're not going to come down from the top. The top down solutions are not going to, unless the thing collapses. But people have to like leave. They have to leave. They have to vote with their feet and their money. And actually, if something's not serving them, they have to find alternatives. And then those particular industries are forced to change because if not, they're just not going to survive because people are leaving. But what is I'm trying to think of a controversial conspiracy lately. One of those controversial ones, I guess, like the Zionist Jews type of thing. And they run the media type of
I
thing
was
is
about to say,
very
whoa,
controversial.
watch out who you're talking about. They might be running this.
Right. And I've spoken to people about that stuff, and um, I don't get too overly
You're gonna
emotional
get a
about it
lot
because
of rain. You're gonna get a lot of rain coming soon.
I'm gonna be fucking all my content's gonna be gone.
They control
But
the weather, bud. As far as I've heard, if you
yeah,
believe these
well,
conspiracies.
you know what's interesting? Here's what I think. Tesla, like when it comes to Tesla, right? Nikola Tesla discovered a bunch of the shit that we're using, right? He
Oh,
invented a bunch of the
you're
stuff
talking about
like,
harp, huh?
huh?
You talking about harp?
The art?
No, harp. His weather control machine that used the ionosphere.
Well, that's kind of where I was going. Is that before he died, they seized a bunch of his blueprints and things that
Yeah,
he was working on for the
the
government, some
CIA
government
and
agencies right
FBI.
before he died. And so some of those things were like a laser, some crazy fucking laser,
Yeah, his
it's like fucking like
death ray.
death ray, right, and all this stuff. So I think that a lot of what there's a lot that we don't know, that they're using. I have the suspicion that the weather is probably controlled through some of the things that he was directly working on. That's what I think, but
Allegedly.
we're not gonna get that. We're not gonna get that confirmed by anybody. That's for sure.
Oh no, that's why the
But
government took control of it, so they can go. Don't worry about it.
exactly. So, but the guy had noble. What I liked about him is that he was actually trying to bring free electricity from natural sources. So, it's kind of sad.
Yeah,
Like
he was trying to
people
use
that are
the Earth's
so
natural resources that weren't consumable for a consumable product. Energy.
yeah. So people like that really inspire the hell out of me. Like they're like one in hundreds of thousands of years come along like that. But it makes me think of the people, how smart the people that built the pyramids, right? The pyramids are these representation of
The
astonishing.
people who built
It,
the
it,
pyramids or the aliens who built the pyramids?
I don't know about that, right? So I have a hard time. I'm not saying that. I'm an agnostic. When it comes to
Same.
aliens, I haven't seen enough tangible. I haven't seen enough tangible evidence that anybody showed me so far. I'm not saying I can't be convinced, but I see stuff that
Exactly.
even CGI. I see stuff that any AI could fucking easily fake. So I don't see. I'm just not convinced, right? I'm not fully convinced. But then again,
Yeah,
it's a huge universe,
there's a lot of things in all religions that don't convince me. Don't get me wrong. I think they're great for what they are, giving people a belief system, making them live moralistically if they choose to believe that, or if not, they go radical and they go, believe what we say or we're gonna bomb you. But religion itself
Right.
is used. It can and should be used for good.
Yeah, of course.
Just tell you
There's
not to be a
yeah.
dickhead constantly.
But there's a problem with it though. Like there is a universal problem with all most religions is that, and like you said, it does serve some function because otherwise people wouldn't join these religions. They
Well,
they
it
serve a function
can
of
serve a function. Not that it does.
they
It
can
can.
they can't. But here's my issue with it is that they all claim to be the only and valid truth. And once you start getting into that framework of this is the only one, but then again, these people don't even understand their own religions. I grew up Christian, right? There's all kinds of flavors of Christianity, right? Here's what's interesting, man. And Christianity is one of the most popular religions besides Muslims, right? Or whatever the fuck that's called. But here's the point. The point is that when you read the Bible, I studied the Bible and I researched it very, very thoroughly. And I'm still researching. I'm still questioning the original language, the original definitions, the context of the historical time period and the people. And what's interesting is that all that Christians keep ranting about has almost it misses 100% the point of Jesus Christ's message, right? Because when you go to the
Yep.
Bible, New Testament, Jesus Christ, here's his main message: the gospel of Jesus Christ is the gospel of the kingdom of heaven. He's like the king. He's first thing he said in public: repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Most Christians don't know what the fuck that means. They don't understand what a kingdom is, right? They never preach about this stuff. They preach about
Oh
hell,
man.
Christ on the cross, heaven, fucking Holy Spirit. They preach about all the other kind of surrounding topics of Christianity and New Testament. But the main thing that Jesus focused on, Jesus himself, the fucking guy that they say is their Lord, they don't understand what the kingdom of God is. But that's one very obvious thing. Jesus Christ never preached, oh, hey, preach me getting crucified on the cross. That's the good news. He never did that. But that's all Christians do is, hey, Jesus Christ died for your sins, man. He loves you. Oh yeah, really? Does he? Because you sure don't fucking behave like it. Like you love me. You just give me some piece of paper and you want me to go to your fucking building and then you fucking ignore me after that. Right? You don't fucking talk to me. Anyways, but that's another fucking rant.
Oh yeah.
Fucking religious people, man. I have strong feelings about against religion. It's you know what it is, man. People want power. What's universal about all humans is that we all. Here's why they
Searching.
like religion, but they want. Here's what they actually want. It is power. We all want power, right? And what is
That's
power?
accurate.
Power is trust me, bro. If you didn't want power, you wouldn't have a fucking lock on your door, a seatbelt on your fucking car, or a gun. If you own a gun, you own a gun because you have power and control over your life, right? So, and that's why people want money, by the way. The people pursue money because they want the control and the influence that money provides, right? So we all want influence over our circumstances. We want to be able to do whatever the fuck we want, travel anywhere we want, be with whoever the fuck we want. That's why we want power, right? Money. There's nothing inherently wrong with that, right? It only becomes a problem when we start violating morals and hurting other people in order to get the power. That's
Yeah.
when we start fucking. It takes, but there's nothing inherently wrong with the desire to
And
control your life
that's one of the
and
things
have
that I
power.
think religion plays the positive aspect in is giving a moralistic background and or set of rules or ways to live that is fairly moralistic. Don't kill people. Don't rape
Uh,
people. don't covet thy neighbor, whatever the bullshit that those stone tablets
Right.
supposedly said. It can
Ten
be
Commandments. Yeah,
used.
yeah. Don't.
It can be, not always, used in a nice moralistic standpoint. You know, be a good person.
It
Don't
defines
be a
what.
dickhead.
To some degree, it defines what morality is.
Yeah, no, and that's
To
what
some point,
that's what religion should be used as is a basically a backboard for morality. For people to shoot
but
that
think about this.
shitty
Sure,
basketball of
sure.
their own morality and go, "Oh, that didn't get a 3? Oh, why did I get it wrong? Oh, it got backboarded because, you're a piece of shit."
It's a way
Basically.
to measure. It's a way to measure your behavior. Like if you believe in a creator, right? I'm not saying you, but hypothetically, if somebody
Like I
believes
said,
in a
I'm
creator,
agnostic as well, so.
well, I'm not agnostic. I'm a theist. I believe in a higher power and an intelligent mind
I hope
behind,
I
responsible.
hope there's a higher power because it would life would make so much more sense if there was something or someone being like, "I made this."
It's more likely to be true. That hypothesis is more likely to be true than the hypothesis that all this that we experience is an unguided, mindless process
I
that
also
has
believe
just
in that.
happened. To me, that seems less likely
Dude,
because think
I
about
kind of
this.
go I kind of go with the Joe Rogan standpoint of, dude, we're just mold on the sandwich that is the Earth. You
But then
know?
again, I'm not here to tell anybody what to think. People have to make up for themselves what the meaning of life is. And, it's not easy. These questions, right? These questions about what is life, why am I here, where am I going? These things are not easy to answer, right? It might take a fucking lifetime, and it might, who knows?
They're never
But
easy
we're
and they're
trying.
never right.
But I do think that you can become more aware of what all the options are, right? Because all these philosophies and religions, what they're attempting to do is to offer these solutions, these world views, philosophical, theological beliefs of what could be responsible for reality, right? Humankind, all this, Earth, and ongoing. But I think that science is help. I like science. What I like about science is that science attempts to explain objectively the function of things. It studies the world around us through its process, and it tries to predict how things work, right? Gravity, the laws of energy, thermodynamics. Like it tries to understand how these things work, and it does help us either validate or invalidate some of these
Well,
philosophies. Like it either
science
points.
and everything is a way for us to quantize or put unlogical things into a measurement form.
But I do think it's limited. It's one form of knowledge. Science is one form of knowledge. I don't think that science could tell you whether your love for your mom is genuine or not. Right? The
True.
science helps because those are different types of knowledge. Right? It's like, what is it the right thing for you to pursue philanthropy? Like, what the fuck does science have to say whether that's the right thing or the wrong thing? Whether you go pursue giving food to fucking people in Africa that are fucking starving. Science is very objective. It's supposed to be objective and neutral. Like, I feel like that's the wrong tool to use when it comes to like what you're gonna do with your life, right?
Yeah, you figure it would be a
Is
more
it,
subjective take instead of an objective take.
yeah, and that's the realm of metaphysics, non-physical, metaphysical, right? Ideas, philosophy that's been around forever, right? So we need both. I'm not of the mindset that you have to like fight with these two things that you can't have one or the other, like one or the other. I think they both serve very important functions. Maybe it could be argued that philosophy gave birth to science to some degree, right? But
Oh
some
yeah, no,
atheists,
I 100%
natural,
agree. Without philosophy, we would have no science because without the thinkers and the people who are going, what if, we wouldn't have the reasoning to go, well, let's test that. Let's prove that. Let's disprove that. And that's where science steps in and goes, the equation matches up. So, that's true.
yeah, man, yeah, man. So I'm not a like an extremist when it comes to that. That's why I can discuss religious things. I can discuss Bible. I don't know everything, but I'm not afraid to explore these categories, right? So it's because they're very important, right? They're very important to people, at least. They might not be important to us individually or other individuals, but universally, religion is super powerful, right? Super Catholic Church, right? Government is as well. And politics is very powerful. The media, right? Entertainment. So it affects us all to
I mean, of
some
course.
degree.
I mean, you just look at the way
Uh,
everything's structured and made. Our entire government and everything is based on religion in a way.
yes, this idea of the American dream and
Under God We Trust is on our money.
yeah, and I do think it's kind of control in some way. It sucks. I hate to see God weaponized, like because I believe in higher power and I believe in God and stuff like that. But it hurts me whenever I see religion weaponize the original pure intent of God. God is love. You know, everything that exists in the world came from God, right? It has to some degree a God image. Like when I see you, look at you as a human being, me, humankind is a fingerprint of God. We are like gods, right? So we're creatures, man. We're gods.
Uh,
I would dare say kings. I consider myself a king. I am a mini king.
I'm not saying I'm not a god, but I might be a god.
You're in the God class. You're in the God class category, right? Spiritually, your spiritual nature, not just your physical, because most of what culture and modern science accepts as the physical, well, of course we're physical, we're biological, mechanical things, but I think we're more than that. We're more than just a biological, mechanical thing. You know, I think we're a creative thing. Because think about it, we're creative. We have an idea, we have a concept, right? Like this concept of this podcast. Yeah, at some point you had this concept, podcast comedy idea, right? It was an idea, concept. Then you said, you know what? How can I? Okay, it could start off like this. You begin to materialize. Now it's materialized. You have this podcast, physical podcast. You put all this stuff in your room, and now it's becoming this materialized from concept to material.
Well,
You did that,
we can blame that on my producer.
huh?
We can
Huh?
blame all of that realization and actualization on my producer who's telling me, "Hey, you got a thing. You're gonna be a successful podcast." And I went, "Okay."
That's cool.
And I went, "Sure,
That's cool,
dude."
man. Yeah, that's cool. That's awesome. I'm glad he encouraged that idea in you, and I like to do stuff like that too, man. But you know, it's in
I
you.
was just trying to shoot the shit with people, and then some dude goes, "Hey, you got something here?" And I go, "Do I?" And he goes, "Yay, yeah, you do."
Yeah, I would echo the same thing, man. When I saw you, I thought, hey, this guy's fucking famous or something. Just first initial impression, looks like a fucking stoner. You have a personality. It's just very I guess it's visual. I kind of get a similar reaction. A lot of people see me and initially they're like, oh, well, why the fuck are they doing that? They don't know my name. Just go, oh my god,
Oh
because
man,
I think everybody
like I
knows
said,
at
man,
least
you got to. I guarantee you got a fan on you, giving you the hero wind, fucking
yeah,
constantly.
got super fucking powers, man, levitating over
You
here.
got that Dragon Force air cyclone going on.
Yeah, but that's kind of intentional. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I would never say that I'm not intentionally doing this. I mean, I'm intentionally trying to look a particular way.
Yeah,
And that's what
like a
entertainers do.
rock god.
I wouldn't say that. I don't
I
like
said it.
saying that all the time. That's fine. But you know, anyways, yeah, I was talking about this because of that religious kind of point. But you know, the this is the kind of stuff I like to discuss. You know, like the higher level. This is transcendental to the just fucking give me a blowjob, bitch. You know, shit. Sensational. Just I just want to feel fucking. I just want to fucking eat, eat, fucking make a lot of money.
I mean, that's what we're here to do as humans, basically.
That's the human aspect. You can't escape. You can't escape the human aspect.
Nah, that's just caveman bullshit.
Yeah, but I
Now,
don't know if there's anything else I'm sure. Yeah.
well, on that, man, we're gonna wrap it up here for now. I would love to have you on for a part two because it seems like you have so much more to say.
Oh
But
yeah, man. I'm
for
fucking
now,
relentless.
for consumptualism, we're gonna cut this episode now. I think we've ran a little too long anyway. But either way,
All right.
like I said, I'd love to have you back for an episode two if you'd be back.
Yeah, sure.
Everybody, this is Ozzy Alejo. If you have anything to plug, whether it's your socials, if you have any dates coming up, your band, whatever, plug away, dude. Give
Sure.
all that info to the fans.
Sure. Yeah. So it's Ozzy Alejo on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. So everything. It's the same thing. Ozzy Alejo. OZZYALEJO. Check me out. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody, please check him out. He is fantastic bassist, fantastic musician, overall great guy. I've learned that talking to him for a
Thank
little
you, man.
while now.
Right back at you. Right
Um,
back at you, man.
well, I think that's going to wrap it up for this episode pretty much here. Either way, like I said, check him out, Ozzy Alejo. This has been Jammed Up with Jelly. Another episode. Hopefully this one doesn't have to get removed. We'll see. But
What's up, man?
thank you to the fans. Thank you for everybody listening. Thank you for all the follows, likes, subscriptions, whatever it is. I don't give a shit. You'll find all the info in the description.